Robey Lal ji. He is an airport design consultant and architect. He has undertaken the master planning and design over the last 58 years of airside facilities and terminals at airports in India and internationally, including as an ICAO consultant in 4 countries. Recently, he completed the design of new terminal in Nepal and expansion of 11 airports in Tanzania. His experience includes conceptual, a detailed design of facilities and undertaking airport master planning and civil aviation master plans. He has served on the board of directors of IAAI and AAI as the airport director of Delhi Airport and the head of departments of planning and designing and the operations department of AAI. Mr. Robey Lal ji will present a submission on integrity, sustainability, and the functionality in airport design. So let's welcome Robey Lal ji.
So my thanks to the organizers and ACE Update for arranging this webinar, and inviting me to participate. Of course, the reason why I'm also very happy is about airports, because there are lots of discussions nowadays about airlines, but certainly about airports, it's much less. So I am so happy that we are discussing airports. Airport designs versus solidity. Actually, as Janvi just said, it's not solidity, it's actually transparency that airport designers and I'll stick with an airport is a big thing. Delhi Airport is 5,500 acres. I'll stick with, and others are few hundred acres in any case. So I'll stick with the terminal design, because in any case, the issues that come up in an airport are all reflected in the terminal. And therefore, when I discuss terminal design, also reflect on the airport. So on passenger, so I'm talking of passenger terminals. And as was said, and I echo Janvi, it's the air terminal design and the aesthetics. They have to operate for long periods of time. And so one of the things, other than just aesthetics and the solidity in keeping the terminal going, is maintenance. And that is something which in India we are kind of weak on. However, the design itself has to take into account various issues, the volume of traffic, both annually and in peak periods, the purpose of the terminal, that's domestic or international. Most important, and many of us don't really appreciate the capacity analysis that is required. And there the ADRM reference manual is a good guide, but that's also changing and you have to change with it. Please remember, there is no such thing as a final terminal, unless you really run out of space. It's always an airport terminal, as any airport also, is a work in progress. And you see that happening even while work is in progress, physically. But demands change, needs change, passengers change. So consider it as a work in progress. And therefore expansion requirements. The technology in use nowadays is not just the structure, etc., and beautiful structures, and I'll also come to some of them, Bombay being one example, but also the new technologies coming in is something that architects are very weak on, and that is information technology. And that is something that I would like to expand on if time permits. So that becomes an important factor for architects to learn. In fact, architects are integrators of various people, not just structure and interiors and MEP and all the rest, but really, it's an amazing number of things you can learn from all sorts of, what should I say, backgrounds. So aesthetics and structural capability are not mutually exclusive of each other. In fact, a good airport, a good terminal works both of them together. There are, of course, some excellent looking terminals which take into account the interiors and the outsides. The first one, which Janvi also mentioned, is, and we've been involved in some small way as the lender's engineer on behalf of the bankers, is seeing the growth of Terminal 2 in Bangalore. It really is representative of the garden city. Beautifully done, walls of greenery with the detailing required to water all the plants regularly and not having it flow on the floor. It goes in at the top and it flows down and goes out at the bottom. And especially on the departure side, it really is an excellent terminal. The new terminals in Singapore, of course, are works of art, but architecturally, very interesting. Washington Dulles by Eero Saarinen, and the other one, which has an interesting history and now an interesting future, is the TWA terminal at JFK. By the way, Janvi, it's not JKF, it's JFK. I used to work there. So that's it. But anyway, the TWA terminal is a historical building, in historical heritage declared building in America. And at one time when TWA closed down, people wanted to knock down that terminal. They said nothing doing. So it has a second life. The check-in area of that old terminal is now the check-in area for a hotel. And right next to it are two new blocks independent of the terminal, what was the terminal, and it's become a hotel, and I loved staying there. It's also one of them which has a bar on the top floor where you can look out at aeroplanes as they arrive and go. So if you're a aviation enthusiast, it's a wonderful place to be in. The other one for environment is Kona. And Kona has this Kona is on the big island of Hawaii. And I was involved in the master planning, though the detailed design done a few years after I worked with my company on master planning, won the American Institute of Architects Award for that building. It's open. It's like you can imagine an open area with the gardens, like Honolulu also, but this one is really garden. The security area is in a garden. And the security is kept in by lava walls made with sort of raw lava rock, which are chest high. And on front of them, they have cactus and orchids, so you can't cross over them. And it's absolutely gorgeous. The other one is, if you want to see in sculpture on a massive scale, go to Paris, the Charles de Gaulle Airport. The first terminal at Charles de Gaulle has 7 escalators running through them, up and down. And as you go up and down in an escalator, you see other people in the other escalators going in different directions. So that is really sculpture. And if you just want to see good interior design, I suggest, and I'm only going by my limited experience, go to Oslo. Oslo is a simple terminal, and with the sort of interiors that Janvi showed, it just reflects that. But they've used local wood. It's a normal terminal, but the interiors are absolutely stunning in that. That is the overall area thing, and they're all structurally safe. I've worked on airports which have annual passenger traffics of 25 to 30,000 passengers a year. Can you imagine 25, 30,000 passengers a year? Delhi has more than that per day. And up to 200 million passengers a year. So it's quite a range to work in, and to get one's mind around what happens in such places is really a demanding effort. It really takes. So increased efficiency, and especially with information technology. In Bangalore, it now has self-check-in and even self-check-in of your own baggage. Delhi yesterday announced that they're tying up with the Delhi metro station so that passengers on Vistara can check in on line 2 right in the city at the metro station. How that's going to work, they must have worked out, because all that baggage will have to go from the terminal, from the train to the terminals. So that is it. The other thing that I see in the future is renewable energy. And as luck would have it, the leading example of renewable energy at airports was Cochin. Cochin put in solar panels before anybody else in the world. They had enough power to being able to contribute to the grid, and they draw from the grid at night, so it brings down their cost. And what they've done is, because Kerala does have a lot of rain, etc., they grow greenery and vegetables below the solar panels. So when that happens, they sell it at very low prices to their own staff, and what is left over, they sell to outsiders. So things like that become a very interesting way to look at. We saw health demands for COVID. We saw new demands which had been removed at one time. So that is happening. But how will climate change affect, while sustainability is okay, but how will climate change affect demand and passengers? I don't know. But as terminals grow, let me say, and they're going to keep on growing, and airports are keep on growing, just riding long escalators, and if they don't work, can get to be tiring. So ride systems are important. I once went to Terminal 2 in Bombay, where the escalators are not working, and that's a long, long, long walk. And talking about spending times at airports, Janvi, I was stuck at Delhi airport for 13 hours. Flight was delayed by 13 hours. The 11 o'clock flight finally left at 10 minutes after 12 at night. And how to, if you think that I was going to spend more money and spend my time being entertained, take my word for it, I was more ready to get into a fight than get into an entertainment. But at the moment, I think I would like to hand over to Charanjit and look forward to a discussion after this. Thank you.
Thank you, Robey, for such an engaging submission on integrating sustainability and functionality in airport design.